Yeah, Chloe, tell me about that bloodbath, or I guess blood shower, if you will. That seems like the kind of scene when you're shooting and you're covered in the red stuff. Like, this is like the gnarliest and yet most awesome thing ever. What was that like?
It was probably the most fun for about the first 2 weeks of it. And then after that, it just got like sticky and wet, and it was like 40 degrees outside, and it was freezing. But it was amazing because each day in the blood, it became something else. And every day, there's a lot of different things where we refer to as like, we have the wet blood and the fire blood and the dry blood and like all the different type bloods. And we had to have a big collection of like, because you don't shoot chronologically, you have to kind of map out what you're doing. And it was amazing because each day throughout the character, the blood became part of who you are. And I just got used to going home every night covered in blood. And the people at the front desk were always like, wow, she must have a really hard day at work. Like, geez.
Julianne, I was going to ask you to compare this role to playing Sarah Palin, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to hold back on that. Resist that urge. But I do want to know about playing Margaret, because this is a woman who does, horrific things to her daughter, but she thinks she's doing the right thing. So how do you sort of play this character and bring some humanity to it? I mean, is she a woman to be feared, or is she a woman to be feared and maybe, I don't know, pitied maybe a little bit?
Well, once again, when we went back to the book to look for all of that, and for me, the character of Margaret was really rooted in social isolation. She's somebody who kind of moved away from her family and joined a religious sect, and when that wasn't strict enough, formed her own religious sect with her husband. Then he died. She thought when she was pregnant that the child was a cancer, and then delivered the baby alone. So all that backstory is in the novel, and I thought, okay, so that means her only family, her only community is this child, is Carrie. So it really is about her trying to keep that as intact as possible. So the minute Carrie starts moving away from her, she senses real danger and then wants to, parent her. So she does come out of a sense of love and family and desire to keep her there, but it's nonetheless abusive.
The thing that's so creepy about this story is not just the blood and the violence, although, like I say, more please, more of all that. But it's the relationship between the mother and the daughter. I mean, that's really what it was. So if that falls flat, the whole story's not going to work. So what did you two do to really, hone that on-screen relationship?
We tried to have some fun.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, like, Julianne's like one of the sweetest people you'll ever meet. And for a character like this, where we would have to go from like laughing and making jokes about like, stupid stuff, and then she'd have to be stabbing me. So it was this really kind of funny relationship we kind of had, and we're cool.
We wanted to be, I wanted us to be safe and comfortable and fun. I wanted us to have a good time together, because I feel like the more connected you are as people, the further you can go as actors. I felt like as long as Chloe felt safe with me, she would feel safe. We feel safe doing the stunts together.
She shouldn't feel safe with you. Look at this film. Are you crazy?
But we were able to push it pretty far, I think. Certainly in the stunts and stuff, and that was fun.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Kimberly, you mentioned being friends with Brian De Palma, who did the original. Did you talk to him at all as you're going through this process at all of making this film?
I talked to him at the beginning, and then he was off doing his movie, and I was doing this, and it was just great to be able to talk to somebody who loved the material as much as I did, and many years ago did such a great job with it. But he was just really supportive, and he's a great director.
So Kevin, no split screen in this version? And we have this famous split screen shots in his.
I don't know, you have to talk to the director.
It's yet to be seen.
All right, yet to be seen. And just continuing with that, Julianne and Chloe, I'd love to hear from both of you, because obviously Sissy Spacek and Piper Laurie gave such iconic performances in the original. So what do you do in this situation? Do you almost have to purge those from your mind, to attack this role and make it your own?
I think that neither one of us, they were both so tremendous in the film. One of the things that was exciting about working with Chloe is that she's an actual adolescent. Sissy, who was so wonderful, was 26 at the time when she made the original Carrie. And so here's somebody who's actually a teenager in a story about being a teenager. And that, for me, I think was just incredibly lucky to have someone who's kind of in that, in that stage of her life.